Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realness meets Entertainment in Color. I'm your host, Francis, with my co-host, Tamika Francis. Both of us are here to talk about Love Island USA Season 4, Episode 23, the beginning of the fallout of Casa Amor. How was your watch party today, Tamika? And how are you doing second time around today?
It was it was actually not bad. We were kind of like watching and marveling at some of the stuff that was going on. We saw that Kyle was whisked away from the villa. So
I didn't actually see that, but it does seem as though Deb hasn't been having any conversations with Kyle to tell him what's going on. So what
no,
did you
Ian
see?
said it. Ian said Kyle has left the villa for
Oh, I
personal
didn't. Okay,
reasons.
I did not hear that.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. When did that happen? In the beginning?
No, like towards the end, right before she was talking to.
Jesse again?
No, not before that. She had a conversation with somebody right before that, and I forget who it was.
All right. So when we go through the
Yeah.
episode, let me know when that happened. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for being here again. Hi, Charlene. Jessica says the show needs to figure out how to fix Casa more. Casa was basically a waste. Almost all the Casa people have been dumped in less than a day. Do you see a way for Casa more to be changed? I'm not sure how to fix Casa more. What do you think, Tamika?
I don't know. I think they've set precedents in the last year, like we were stating earlier, that have caused it to become this just not serious thing. Um,
Yeah, the girls are not treated as potential interests. It's only like they're only like a sexual test from their real relationships. And
correct.
so 90% of the time, maybe even more, they're going to go back to their original person because they're not thinking of these Casa Amor girls as actual potential relationships.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they can fix that.
Me neither. I just don't. It's sad because there could potentially be better people in Casa Amor, but they've made it. I don't know. Maybe do more dates, less of
Mm.
these games where they're doing sexual stuff. Definitely don't do a freaking hideaway again in Casa Amor. Um, or
Maybe also vetting people that would be good for the people that are in Casa Amor.
yeah,
Because like, did we even see in the recoupling Tiger Lily or
no,
what's the other girl's name? Avery?
no, because they didn't show us the
The
Casa
guys.
recoupling. They just showed us when they walked in, and they didn't bring those girls in, to the villa to talk to anybody. So
I mean, I think that they should. Like, I was like, well, yeah, where's Tiger Lily? Where's Avery? Like, they were just like exited the villa like Kyle. Like they're done. They didn't have any sort of impact whatsoever. I mean, it could have been, I don't know if it works with the storyline, but what if like Tiger Lily, well, I have something to say. Like I was like sleeping in the bed with Jeff and we were making out all the time and blah blah blah. Like she might have said one of those. Maybe that would have
right,
caused some trouble, but maybe the producers are invested in Jeff because they know he's popular.
yeah.
Because like maybe that's why they didn't bring her out. Hi, 32 Ria. Maybe do Casa Amor earlier so that people don't have such strong relationships with their original picks. But that also doesn't work either, right? Because like that we kind of have that with like all these people going in single and just finding somebody else. Like that's fine, cool. They found somebody that they have a connection with, but that's not really that interesting. So I think that they have to find people, like they have to have the original people from the villa be in decent relationships. of something that they want to explore,
Right.
and then have the people in Casa Amor be vetted specifically for each person to come in as an actual temptation of somebody that they could see them with potentially. Because that would be an ultimate test. Be like, oh my god, like, what if like Zeta and Timmy met in Casa Amor? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that would be like, whoa, and like he was partnered up, say, with Bria beforehand, right? Like
I agree. I think they have to make this not just some sort of
sex rom.
play,
Mm-hmm.
sex, whatever you want to call it, vacation that I feel like it's come to. They need to make this like a literal listen, you have a strong connection with this person, but kind of like, are you the one? This is the person that we vetted for you, or these are
Mm-hmm.
the two people we vetted for you. Will you have better connections with them? Connections are built by conversation, more dates. Like the little bit that they've been doing in the villa, but sped up. So in 3 or 4 days, you're going on dates, you're going on, more conversation, not just games.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and like I know that everybody's like, "Can I pull you for a chat? Can I pull you for a chat?" But I think that if it was a little bit more structured, I think that that also would allow people to maybe talk to some of the people that they wouldn't necessarily talk to.
Right.
And yeah, I think going on like little mini dates would be great. That would be, at least they'd get to know each other a little bit more, because like Phoebe said, like, and Sydney said actually this episode, like 4 days versus 3 weeks, it is very difficult to really get in there with only 4 days. Like, I know we were saying that it was kind of getting boring in Casa Amor, but if people were going on these different dates, real connections were being made, like, seeing everybody interacting with everybody and seeing if there is a connection there, I think that there could be more content, but it's boring because no connections are being made. So we're just like, okay, let's just end this now.
Right.
So Charlene says, I think they need to not have as many bombshells as they did this year. Too many dumpings too quick. They can have the bombshells come in, but I think they only needed to have like 2 dumpings. They didn't have to have like, how many they have, like 4 or 5. Like, it's too many.
Yeah, it was too many because then it ended up like you need to have people in strong couples. Like they should not have done that. Brought in those last two or three girls or whatever they brought in. Because I like look at this. Kat is about to connect with Jared. They could have did that at the end of the season. I don't give a fuck. Like seriously, Serenity could have sat in the same relationship with Chaz, gone to Casa Amor, both find their separate people. Like they weren't a strong couple, but they were established enough that we care.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's also the thing too, is that we don't really care about the majority of the people's journey. So I didn't care that any, like, I cared obviously that Timmy and Zeta didn't have any sort of temptations or whatever, but like everybody else, that's kind of like, whatever. Like, I guess was slightly interesting to Phoebe Isaiah part of it all, but not her just keep on saying like, I'm better for you, like we have a better connection. Like, okay, show me.
Yeah, I mean, she keeps saying, like, she's the one that said, oh, well, it's 3 days versus 3 weeks and we're already stronger. But then when you come, oh, he hasn't given me enough time. We don't have enough time together. Like, how we're supposed to build something based on it's not strong enough. I said it's not strong enough because it's built on a 3 day old foundation. Like, yeah, that's not going to be strong enough, but that's why you need to be focused on building it. But I think her mistake in this was doing that ultimatum at him, to be honest.
We'll get to it. So Harry says, how long have you been going? Are you reviewing today, which is the aftermath yet? Sorry, I'm not sure what the question is. We're reviewing the most recent episode that aired at 9 p.m. Eastern, episode 23. Casa is fine. It does the job. If you enjoyed it, I guess. But the point is that none of the Casa girls are going to get the guy.
Right.
For sure. And none of the Casa boys are going to get the girl. So I don't know if it actually does the job when none of them have a chance with like getting a connection with somebody else.
Yeah, at
So
this point, the way that that Casa is set up in this situation for the last 2 years, no, it's not doing its job because none of the girls are actually being temptations. They're either being people to be used, or they come back and then they get kicked out. Like, that's not a temptation. A temptation is somebody who's actual. That's why I
potential.
keep saying, like, if they really cared about matching people, they would tell us their
Zodiac signs.
signs. Like, we would know certain information, because that is the basis that they're using to throw these people out. That's not what the basis that they use. They go to the people and are like, who out of all
Who do
these
you
people that
want?
you watch do you want? Who are you attracted to? Most of those people will be like, well, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna either go for somebody big, or I'm gonna go for somebody I think I can vibe with. And person might not be anybody that they would normally be attracted to, but they're trying to get into the villa. Fine. Like, that's your job as a bombshell, but it's also not a basis for an actual relationship.
No, 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 no. Like people, the people's intention for the connections that they're deciding to pursue is ingenuine for a lot of these people. So let's look at this episode. So we see Sydney, and she's upset that 3 weeks wasn't enough. Um, I really liked how Sydney handled herself this episode. And she does get a pep talk from Sydney, from Zeta and Courtney, who finds Sydney in the vanity room, and Zeta's like, you know what, if you want something to be with him, you're gonna have to be vulnerable and like let him know this. Don't sabotage. Be strong. Be kind. Like the kinder you are is going to eat away at him, which is really, really true. Especially knowing that he's a Pisces, he is going to really internalize emotional things, and so he's not going to be as tough as she is. Like she's going to be able to switch off whenever she wants. She's a Sagittarius, like she could turn it off. Like, and same with Phoebe. She's Aquarius. She could be not bothered in a quick second. But he's definitely going to be emotionally thinking about this a lot, and especially if she's super kind. Because if she pops off and she makes him feel bad in a way that she looks kind of like mean and like, oh, like see how she reacted, like I didn't want to be with her anyways, it would make it easy for him to move on to Phoebe. But if you're kind and sweet and just showing him everything that he enjoyed about you, it is going to eat away at him. And so I thought that was good advice that she was given from Zeta and Courtney.
Yeah, I was actually that I was like, actually, that's a good idea. And even the way she handled it later, when he was like, I'm going to focus all my energies to Phoebe. And she's like, okay, that is going to get him.
Yeah. Sure, do what you want.
That's going to get
It's
him.
not as tempting when like you don't have somebody like pulling you back, and like you're just like, I have to do what I want to do. Like if you have nothing that you're fighting against,
Right.
then he has to like just be going to do it because he wants to, and he might not want to do it as much as he thought he did. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I'm very interested with how this dynamic is, just as a person that's observing, because it is working very well so far. So I'm still interested in how this all resolves itself.
Yep.
So we see, like, while this conversation is happening upstairs in the vanity room, that Nadja asks Isaiah, how does he feel? And he says that he's 70% for Sydney. And she asks, does Phoebe know this? Because Phoebe definitely does not think she only has a 30% like interest from him.
Wasn't this like the second or third time too that he's been using percentages in the
Yeah,
wrong way?
he changes his percentages often, but like,
Like, dude, don't use percentages. Just said that you had an attraction to her and a vibe. And I mean, what he said later to Zeta actually made sense. This percentage thing don't make no sense.
yeah, I don't. I don't think that Phoebe would come back to the villa with somebody if she only has a 30% success rate here. Like, no,
And she's stupid.
no. But he keeps on saying, I think he said this in the confessional, that Sydney's face, seeing her face, fucked him up. And like, doesn't he think of that? Like, I don't understand when guys are in Casa Amor how they don't think that when they see the other person that any feelings that they did have is going to come back, especially since he was so conflicted. Jeff and Sydney chat, and was it Jeff and Sydney? You should talk to Nadja. Well, she's telling him to talk to Nadja. I mean, I do like that Sydney and Jeff seem to have a bit of a friendship. It seems like a lot of people seem to be taking care of Sydney, which I kind of like. She's like a younger sister. Jessica says Isaiah using percentages makes his decision looks worse because why would you leave 70 for 30? Exactly. So Deb and Jess have their first, or Jessie, sorry, have their first conversation, and she's like, I missed you, and she didn't really know what he was going to do. And like, I think your theory is correct here, where you're kind of stating that, you know, she was probably going to choose Jessie, but then when she saw kind of what the other guys were doing, that she got spooked, and she didn't want to look dumb. So she grabbed onto Kyle. But Deb in their confessionals is saying that she fell for him more, seeing him come back alone. She tells him that she kissed Kyle outside the challenge, and he took it well.
He did.
He liked that she was being honest with him. And so I have to say, like, all of this got some more stuff. Like, I know a lot of people are like, Deb should have come back with somebody. It really has made Jesse put in more effort, and I appreciate him taking initiative and like feeling something and saying how he's feeling. Like he's being more active in this relationship, so I can get behind it a little bit more. I can get behind there being a connection. I can get behind him, you know, them working things out. Because he's putting in some effort. Before it was just like sitting and talking every once in a while, and it looked like she was always just like wanting more. So he's putting in more effort, and I'm happy about that. They kiss. Still don't like watching their kisses, but the second kiss they have later this episode was better, I thought.
I will liken it to an Andrew and Tasha. I still don't see the chemistry.
Right.
I'm not understanding it. But hey, if they like it, I love it. If they're both putting in effort, sounds good. I just don't have any hope for long lasting on this, but okay.
I agreed. And whatever, it's fine. They'll probably win the show, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the way the Facebook moms are going.
Yeah. We got Fiat 500 in USA. Like, so Isaiah wants to speak to Sydney, and so I thought that this was a smart ploy on her part. She says, yes, like, which place did you miss the most? And I was like, that's good. Get him to tap into his emotional self of like memories that you had together where he felt good and he missed. And so they went to the swings to chat. So I thought that was a good suggestion on her part to bring him into what was going on with them.
Yeah.
And so they go to the swings, and then we have the conversation that we talked about when we looked at the first look, and he's like, I know what we had, so I knew that you were going to come back alone. That's so rude. That's rude, eh? I knew that you were hung up on me, so I knew you were going to come back alone, and I didn't care. I'm going to bring back a girl that I was only 30% interested in.
I would just throttle him. I'm like, you're not saying right stuff. Like, maybe you should sit this one out for a day or something. Like, because we're not. This is the same couple hours. Like, you're not saying good things. Don't say these things.
Well, she's like, well, then why did you bring her? And I really appreciated how she was calm. She wasn't too weepy. Like, she was just like,
no, she was perfect. Her emotions were perfectly even.
Yeah.
She perfectly stated how she felt. I think walking away, having the conversation with Zeta and the girls, literally got her prepared to have this proper conversation properly, because that was people's thing. Oh, she didn't freak out. She was very easy in tone. She was trying to understand. Then she went back into the dressing room and she freaked out there, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I properly actually appreciated her this episode.
Totally agree with you, Charlene. Sydney didn't break down like he thought, so that messed him up. Absolutely. He was prepared to have to be like, well, like I just didn't feel like we were done. Like he wanted to have that energy.
The toxic.
Yeah. And she was like, what she said, she's like, I really feel deeply for you.
Zeta and Courtney told her the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The right stuff. Phoebe doesn't have that, and that's why Phoebe's going to lose.
Mm-hmm. And like she had like at one point, like I think it was just like one tear that was falling down her cheek, and I was like, I thought she looked so beautiful.
She
and
looked very beautiful.
When that whole conversation, because I know it was hurting her so much, it got me crying a little bit, like I am right now, like my eyes watering a bit, because I thought that there was so much that she was like holding back, and she was being so reserved with like what she was giving out, but she was being so honest. I thought it was a really beautiful moment, and I thought she looked beautiful while she was expressing this. And he was just looking at her, and I think he just felt like this big.
Felt like shit, and I'm glad he did, because that comment was unnecessary. That, oh, I knew you weren't gonna find anybody because our connection's strong. So then, what did you do? Like, why did you find somebody? I wanted to punch him.
Hi, Charnice. Charnice is asking, did they get rid of Kyle at the low? They didn't show him at all. So yes, apparently Ian said something and I didn't hear it. So when we get to the part in the episode, Tamika's going to let us know when Ian, the narrator, mentioned that Kyle was gone. Jessica was very proud of Sydney the whole episode. I definitely thought she was going to be a blubbering mess, but she was very composed. Yes, and it was very compelling.
From the recoupling to that part.
Well, and you know what though? Also, when you talk about when you're working as an actor, and people think that like crying all the time is like how you be a good actor, whatever. But what actually really gets you and how you connect with people is somebody that wants to break down, but they're doing everything that they can to not do that. And that's why it was just so amazing what Sydney was doing, because like you knew she wanted to break down and crumble, but she was holding herself back from doing it. And that's why I was like on board with her. That's why he was like, oh my God, like I broke this girl. Like this is breaking my heart here, because I know she wants to break down and cry, but she's being strong. And yeah, it was really compelling.
It was.
That was very good TV for me.
It was. I listen, solid episode, but also solid storyline. I did not think I was going to be invested. And I will eat my words and say, I'm actually invested in this whole entire scenario.
Me too. Agreed. I totally 100%. Hi, Sean. So Sean says his body language with Sydney made me so uncomfortable. Like, I get that there's still tension there, but Sarah, you just brought back another girl. Like, why are you trying to rub on Sydney? Yeah, I know. And like leaning his head on her and like trying to cuddle her. I'm just like, get off of her. You don't get this, buddy. Like, like you chose somebody else to cuddle up to, so go find her. Like,
weird.
I mean, I did feel like there's a few times where he really just wanted to kiss her.
Right.
And like, I feel like
yeah, just the way he kept staring at her. And I'm just like, wow, he really wants to lay one on her while he has another girl sitting. I mean, and to be honest, Derek did that. So that was funny.
Do we know officially though? Do we know officially if she could see her, if it was just like the editing?
The fake out? I don't know, but it looked like she could, and I was just like, ooh, that's terrible.
It's not good. So next scene, we see Phoebe upset in the vanity room with Shawnee and Bella, and I figured out who Bella reminds me of, and tell me if you agree. Ellie from last season. Not the way they speak, but facially, I feel like they have a similar look.
I'll have to look at her again to think. I can't I don't know. I've blocked Ellie out of my mind because she annoys the shit out of me. So there's that. But also, I don't really remember what she looks like either.
Um, so she's like Phoebe's crying. I'm like, okay, bombshell. Like, I know you're young, so this is a new scenario for you, and you probably are used to getting whatever you want, any guy that you want. Like, I get that, and
Right.
this is definitely new territory to be in, and so that could
Right.
be overwhelming. But you knew that you were coming in and you decided that you wanted to come in and break up a relationship. You said that you had your eye on him from day one. You've been watching their entire relationship grow, and you thought that you still wanted to insert yourself between this couple, thinking that you could break them up. And he still has feelings for her. That should be something that you factored into a possibility. And so the fact that she's crying there with like the other two girls is like, I can't really have any sympathy for you because you literally knew what you were getting yourself into.
I had no sympathy for her. None whatsoever. I was not understanding why she was crying. And even when she tried to explain why she was crying, I'm like, you didn't realize he was gonna have to talk to her that same night? Like you didn't realize how big of a connection and couple they were when you were watching it? Like you were even said yourself 3 weeks versus 3 days. You don't think he owed her a conversation regardless of whatever y'all had?
I don't know what her thought process was here. Like the facts aren't facting.
I was like, I was mind boggled to be
Just
honest.
don't be crying, Phoebe. Don't be. I mean, maybe it's to have a moment on camera. I don't know, but like, come on. Hi, Miss St. Pete. So Isaiah knows he's going back to Sydney. Absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind. I don't know though if she's gonna. She might not take him back though right away. I don't know. I'm not sure because like the preview for the next episode, I'm not sure what's going to be happening there because something's up.
Right.
Is this him considered having his cake and eating it too? He's trying to. He's trying to for sure. He wants to have both women like wait doing whatever he wants with them and like being okay with kissing in front of each other and him cuddling this one and sleeping in the bed with this one and saying 30% to this one and 70% to he wants them both just to be waiting there for him.
Yeah.
And whatever he decides to do, he gets to choose. And like that's also another casualty of Casa Amor that I don't appreciate.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the guys that get to do this, and I don't think that it's fair. Like
I agree.
that they get to just like, oh, they get to go and sow their oats and they get to have these tests and they get to go and like do whatever they want with these Casa girls, and then their bona fides, they're just waiting them for them because like they believe in their connection in their relationship. It's like
Right.
it's just so typical that the guys get to cheat and the girls get to forgive. It's annoying. It's not necessarily cheating. I know they're not in a real relationship, but you get what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
I remember when Jared, Kat, and Nadja kissed in the challenge, and I did see a spark between Kat and Jared. I don't remember that. I guess I was there in the beginning when they first got there. I don't remember the spark, though. Hi, SJ. So I feel like he's better off without either of them. It's so messed up. Well, I mean, that wouldn't make for a good show.
I mean, he's gonna have to choose, or they're gonna have to choose for him. And I mean, unless it's gonna be unless she's getting the Amber at it, where
Sydney?
Yeah, where she's gonna stay single, try to figure out. He's gonna dump her. Phoebe's gonna get dumped. He's gonna want to go back to Sydney. People are gonna be like, "Don't take him back." Somebody comes in for her, she wins the show. I mean, that's also a possibility.
Well, also what could be a possibility is that, at the end of the episode, we see Phoebe and her having a conversation. And when she finds out maybe some more about this conversation, maybe it'll be too much and she won't want to take him back. And maybe she will end it because she says in this episode, I can be ice cold. And I know the vibe. I know like Sagittarius women, are able to not be affectionate, not be emotional, like move on quick. Like it's very possible for them to do this because they are fiery. People are always attracted to them. They always find them interesting. They always want to be around them. And so when she says that a girl like me doesn't have a hard time finding another boyfriend, I think that it's true. People are going to always be gravitating towards her,
Right.
whatever. And so I could see her deciding, like, yeah, that's not it. I want someone to choose me. I'm not going to really wait around for this. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Some bombshells come in that are coming in for Sydney. Yeah, and then get the Amber at it. And he could stick with Phoebe, and Phoebe's going to be like sad because she's going to feel second best. And then he'll probably get dumped. Both of them, a couple. Actually, there's a lot of other couples that will get dumped, so they might stay for longer just because, there's a lot of other couples that I'm like, bye. Sean says Isaiah and Chad should have applied for F-Boy Island. Have you watched F-Boy Island?
No.
It's not bad. But okay, so on F-Boy Island, though, like you're either coming into the situation as an F-boy or a good guy. And so the three women that are dating all these guys, they don't know who's an F-boy or who's a good guy. And they're supposed to just like be eliminating people and going on dates and stuff like that. And then eventually they find out who is an F-boy and who's a good guy, and they have to decide whether they want to continue dating whichever person. And at the end, the F-boy kind of gets to choose whether or not they're going to split the money with the girl. So I guess so. But Chaz would be going in as a good guy because he thinks he's a good guy. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Hi, Kanisha. Kanisha says, I'm not sure Sydney is better for Isaiah than Phoebe is. Sydney just got there first, but her and Isaiah have already had at least a couple disagreements.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she's better. I'm just saying that he was acting like she was insignificant to Phoebe, and I don't think that's fair.
What was the last line you said? The last couple words?
I said I feel like he was like downplaying Sydney in order to justify his connection with Phoebe.
Or to make it progress. Like,
yeah, to make it seem like Sydney was insignificant to compared to Phoebe, and I just don't feel like that's the case.
I mean, and also, like, yeah, they had a couple disagreements or whatever, but like, I don't really know what Phoebe's relationship and vibe is really with Isaiah either, because all they have done is talk about her being better than Sydney. Like, I don't, like, I know what he does say though, like the things that he likes about Phoebe, and the fact that she's smart and that she's in pre-law and all that stuff, and so that she looks like a model, but she's also really intelligent. So yes, that's different, and it would be very intriguing, absolutely. But I think that Phoebe would get bored with Isaiah, to be honest.
I can see that.
So Timmy and Zeta finally reunite, and they were just like two giddy, like, teenagers. So happy to see each other. I'm obsessed with them. Timmy in his confessional saying that there's going to be some chronic cuddling tonight, and I'm just like, I so appreciate how he makes her feel special. He doesn't like he's honest with how he feels, and he says whatever he wants to her, and it makes her feel so good. Yeah. I think that even when she said something like, I can't remember what she said to him, and he's like, oh, is this a trick? She's like, oh no, it's not a trick. Like even that, like, there's just an honesty, there's a lightness, there's a banter, there's a flirtation. Like, I feel like they have the vibe that I'm always interested in seeing what's going on between the two of them. So I'm happy that we got a reuniting of this couple.
I was so happy to see them together. They just work so well.
I totally agree that they work so well. Do you know, this is a good point, V. So V says Phoebe wanting to see Sydney break down is sadistic. I mean, I think that it would just make her feel better about the situation. And I think that that's why both her and Isaiah were probably expecting that Sydney was going to blow up and just make it very obvious that Phoebe is the better choice for him. Look how she's acting. Like, you don't want to be with someone like her. She's not even being mature about the situation. You know what I mean? They don't have that storyline to go by anymore. And so now it's kind of like, oh, like she's a kind person whose heart's getting broken here. Phoebe, I think, is feeling a little bit shitty about the situation. And then also realizing that this version of Sydney could easily get Isaiah back. So
I'm pretty sure that's what he probably told her to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's probably gonna come back alone. She'll pop off, but whatever. Like, I'm invested in you.
Exactly.
Yes, Jessica, Zeta, and Timmy are so cute. Happy to see them back together. Hopefully they can start getting some votes from people, but I don't know, with Deb and Jesse being the favorite, now that they are going to be really invested in each other, they might take the win from them. But they are my couple for sure. I really, really, really like them. So Isaiah talks to Phoebe, and I'm just like, okay, so now we're gonna have Phoebe crying not crying, but like whining about like, oh, she felt all alone, and like he's like, well, you know, I wanted to be respectful to Sydney, and she's like, well, then you're gonna be disrespectful to me, and I'm just like, you knew what you're getting yourself into. Did you want him to just parade your relationship in front of Sydney, and like that would have made you feel better? Like, the lack of consideration on Phoebe's part coming in as a bombshell is annoying to me.
I just don't understand. Get the memo. This is not what you do.
No. And then now we have a little 180 from Miss Nadja, and all of a sudden she feels something for Jeff, and I'm just like, she just must remember that Jeff is popular. Maybe what happened, because like when she has a conversation with Jeff, he's like, oh, it was your ego, and she's like, no, it wasn't. I think it was her ego. I think it
was her ego.
I think she did think that Jeff was going to come back with somebody, because she didn't give him any sort of inclination that she was interested in, because she didn't. But he was still vibing her, but like she kind of was friend zoning him. And the fact that he came back, she didn't want to come back wanting him and then him have moved on, because she has not been open to a relationship with him or advancing things with him. Didn't she just actually friend zone him? So like, I think that she was bringing back somebody so that she wouldn't look stupid if he did.
I agree.
And now she knows, like, oh, he didn't bring somebody back. Oh, he's popular. I should be with him still.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
So Sydney's alone in the other bed, and this was a sweet moment from Chaz, when Chaz goes over and like just lays on top of her and gives her a hug. And so I thought that was really sweet. I know we're not that big of a fan of Chaz, but just like the fact that he was being considerate, it's probably his Cancerian self, you know, wanting her to feel good, and you know, she knows he's hurting. And she's just saying, like, I'm so stupid. And he's like, you're not stupid. And I'm like, you're not stupid, Sydney, but like, you are, because like, you shouldn't get in a relationship with a guy like Isaiah because he's an idiot. But, you know, can't help who you are attracted to, I guess. So there's 18 couples in the villa. It seems like 2 couples outside.
Like, people are sleeping outside on the deck for no reason. Not because they're not with the person they want to be with, not because they, you know, except for Nick, but not because they decided that they just could not be in that room, because there's 18 couples in the damn villa. Ridiculous.
That's so many
Ridiculous.
people.
I was like, what? What are y'all thinking?
I don't know. So many people. Yes. The bed shots. So, like you said, Nadja and Nick did sleep separately. They found two separate places to sleep. Hilarious. So in the morning, Phoebe's talking about being scared to go anywhere. See, she's trying to make some big blow up with Sydney. She's really trying to make it pop off. And it's like, girl, stop it. Like, Sydney has not given you any indication that she's going to treat you unkindly, that she's going to yell, scream. She hasn't done any of that you have seen since you've been in the villa. So with the fact that you're scared to be around her, that's all on you, babe. That's your guilt. Like, you feel guilty for like going in on somebody else's man and seeing her feeling emotional about it. V says, I feel bad for Nick. Maybe you can crack on with Sydney.
No.
Was it 18 people or 18 couples? I wrote couples. Well, let me think how many people there are. How many couples? Is it people or couples? It might be only people, but I wrote down couples.
18 couples.
Let's just think about it logically. So, wait, Jeff is alone. Maybe beds. I don't know.
18 beds. Must be beds. Because there were single people. There were 4 single people, right?
Mm-hmm. So, outside was like 2 couples for sure.
Outside was 2 couples. So it was Courtney and Zeta's couples. Then Nick. Then Chaz and
Gabby. Bella
in the hallway. Then Nadja was in a separate bed.
Jeff was in a separate bed.
Jeff was in a separate bed. Jesse was in a separate bed.
Deb and Kyle.
Deb and Kyle. Jared and his girl. So I'm already at 10.
Shansay.
So who am I missing now? Isaiah and Phoebe. Sydney. We're
like missing like 10 people.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, let's see. Casa Amor. Maybe it's 18 people, but regardless, it's still a lot.
I think it's 18 people. 18 beds. I think it's 18.
Maybe it's beds, and I just wrote down couples for whatever reason. Who is still there? Never mind. It's probably 18 people. 2 couples outside were, yes. Oh, yeah, forgot about Chad. We didn't see Chad all episode. But I knew that they were outside, so that was 4 of them. That's 2 couples. Was there only 9 couples? I don't know. I can't think of anybody. Yeah, Kat. Kat. Was she with? She by herself? Did we say Jared? Yeah, we did say Jared. Kat. There's like, did we say Deb and Jesse or no?
Kat was single, so I said. I said Jeff and Jesse. And I said Nadja because she was sleeping in the bed.
Okay, Jeff, Jesse, Chaz. Who's Chaz in bed with? Bella. Jared.
With Shansay.
Deb, Kyle. Zeta, Timmy. Courtney. Courtney's with Chad.
Nick was outside with them.
Nick. Sydney. Isaiah. Phoebe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're missing 2 people. Roll call. Who are we missing?
That's how crazy it is. This is too many people if you can't even figure out who's still in the villa.
Nadja. 17. Maybe it was 18. I just made a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So still 17. We're missing a person, guys. Missing a person. Well, hopefully we'll figure it out before this recap's done. So in the morning, Phoebe's going to go anywhere, but she does say that she's going to talk to Sydney later. So Jeff tells Nick with the guys chat. Kyle. No, I said Kyle.
He's with Deb.
I said Kyle. No, I said Kyle. Darn it. Shoot. Kat again. It's here, and I didn't remember Kat. Kat's by herself. Yes, because she likes Jared. Did I say Jared? Yes. Okay. I think that's it. I think it is 18 people in the villa. So Jeff in the morning chat tells Nick to do what he wants to do, like he's not going to be bothering with it, like whatever, go do what you want to do. And because Nick is saying that, like, she won't even like hold his hand, like she keeps on shooing his hand away. And I do think it's because she knows that Jeff is not going to be feeling the fact that she brought back another man. And like, I don't think that Jeff thinks that Nick is like at the same caliber as him. So I think that she just didn't want it to look like a certain type of way.
Yep.
So many people. I don't even know all their names. We got it though. We got all 18 people. We have our roll call here. We got them. We know who's in the villa. We only saw a quarter of them though this episode. So, because Jeff is in his confessions, like, you picked him over me.
He really was. He was so salty.
It's true, though.
I was dying laughing. I will say this. Jeff is nothing but, I said, real in his authentic.
Yeah, he's himself.
Because he was cursing everything. And I was just like, imagine if we were not on Peacock. He would not be as good of a character, I would say.
True. It's true.
So
he'd be edited. An edited, like, polished version of Jeff. It's kind of like. So Isaiah says to the guys, like, seeing Sydney fucked me up. Like, what did you expect, Isaiah? You were into this girl. You've had some moments with her. You're going to feel a certain type of way. So Sydney says that, in a girls' chat, that she feels like a clown. And, like, you see, like, Phoebe looking over. I don't know if it's actually edited that way, but it seems like Phoebe's, like, listening in on how Sydney feels like a clown. And Deb, we hear, all she wants to do is be with Jesse now. And, I mean, I think that definitely when you're worried about your guy cheating or finding another connection, seeing them come back alone, it would be pretty attractive. You'd be like, oh my God, he's really into me. Like, that's a big gesture. We say show, don't tell. And so this was a big sign, I would say, for Deb. So Zita and Isaiah have a little conversation, and this is where he tells her about she likes her being a model in pre-law. What else did you say that I've noticed in this conversation?
Who is this? Zita and which one?
Isaiah. Mama Z.
Oh, I just feel like he was just honest. Like, he was like, she's like, but it's also Zita's effect, because she's like, well, tell me about Phoebe. And, it's like, okay, I see what you're saying. That makes sense. So, and he was saying stuff, and she was like finishing his sentence. Like, she's like, I get it. No, that makes sense. Like, she wasn't hard on him. She was yelling at him. She allowed him the freedom to express what he was seeing. She backed him up in a little bit. Like, okay, that makes sense for you. Like, I think she gave him reassurance that whatever he's going to do, he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
without like pressing on him. You did this, But that's Zeta, and I've said it before. Like I'm sure they're expecting Zeta to pop off, for her girls. She's gonna do it, but it's not in the way that y'all think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I felt a little bit about that conversation. I do wish she gave him a little bit of reprimanding, being like, like, why'd you do it? But I do understand how her approach,
Well,
like,
he
that's
already
just.
got that from Naja when
Mm-hmm,
he
mm-hmm.
with the 70
That's
30.
true. That's
Why
true.
did you do that? Blah, blah, blah.
That's true.
And you did that for 30%, and he got it already.
That's true.
And even she was like, all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? So, and you see, he wasn't even really able to explain himself. 70 30? 70 30?
I think the thing is with Isaiah right now is
Yeah.
that the idea of like Phoebe and like something new
Mm-hmm.
was really fun and alluring. But I think the reality of just like completely dumping what he has with Sydney to be with Phoebe isn't as alluring as like the push and pull. I don't think that he will want to decide on Phoebe. Like, I think that he would rather be in the middle than make a decision on Phoebe. And I think that he will, in the end, want Sydney.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, like we said in the beginning of this, I think Sydney played it right
Mm-hmm.
because popping off would have allowed him
To move on.
the ability to move on with no qualms. He
Mm-hmm.
would have been like, see, she's this and that and this. That's why I'm focusing on Phoebe. But he couldn't do that because
Mm-hmm.
she didn't give him that energy.
You have to really think about it now. Like, what do you want? Like, this is your test. This is you making this decision. You saw something in her that you want to explore, so go explore it.
Yep.
Okay, fine. So Phoebe though now is just like wanting to be herself. Like she might just fuck off, which I also think is like she could do that. She could just decide that I'm not into this ping pong. Like you said, you're going to choose me and you were going to give me a chance and focus on me, but now you're playing back and forth and you have to make a decision. I thought you had made your decision. And I thought that decision was me. So I could see her easily getting bored of this stale, like him not making a decision yet. But Isaiah says in his confessional that he wants to show Sydney more. Like that's what his heart is telling him to do. Before the recoupling, he's like, his heart is telling him it's Sydney. He even says it's 70-30. That is a big enough percentage to say, like, Sydney, who you want to put more in time and work into. Like, he likes Sydney more at this point. And so he's just so dumb. Like, I don't know why he put himself in this situation. Like, he really just caused himself a lot of trouble.
For 30%. Okay, go
I
ahead.
know. For 30%. For 30%. Like, would you rather 70% off or 30% off? I'll take 70% off. And every day. Every day. No discussion.
Weird stuff.
It's so silly. So Jeff and Nadja has a talk, and he just wants her to be happy, and he's wearing Jared's headscarf. That's when he's telling her, I was all about pride, and like I thought she was pretty bang on with how to call her out here. Mm-hmm. She was really trying on with this kind of like a little bit of a, I don't know, urban attitude when she's kind of chatting with him. But whatever, it seems to be what he enjoys about her. He likes her still. I would have been so turned off by her, but I don't know, maybe he's just
listen, what did you say? Because we were trying to figure it out before, and he said it this episode. Oh, I could bring her home to mama.
Right. Yeah, I could. They would have very cute kids, to be honest.
I said it has to be that she's his type. He must think that she's got something that he could see lasting.
Future kids and stuff like that with. Mm-hmm. Nick and Nadja has a talk, and he's kind of salty about the fact, and I would be too if I was him, because she did not give him any sort of inclination that Jeff was even a consideration. And she didn't. She went into Casa Amor single. Like, she did not have somebody that she was considering to going back to. And so she said that she thinks that she convinced herself that she didn't like him, which is possibly true. She could
Yeah,
have. She could also be lying right now, just be like, oh, like, I want to get with him because he's popular
that's it.
and he's better looking, in my opinion. And he has a bit more swagger, dresses better. So yeah, I mean, you don't like the way he dresses
Not my
over
type.
over Nick.
Not my type.
I mean, that's
He's
the
okay. Like he's
Aquarius in me. I like people that are uniquely dressed.
yeah. He's not my type, to be honest, at all.
He's one of my types. I have a few
Hmm.
different types. He's one of them.
Yeah.
I definitely have dated someone that's kind of his vibe. So, like, yeah, actually, really much his vibe. I remember I was working at a hip hop club in Montreal, and like they have like strict dress codes, like no running shoes, no baseball caps. And he at this time, I think he was like a rep for like Sean John or something like that. And so he always had like he's always wearing designer everything. And he
Hmm.
got so mad at me because like they were giving him a hard time at the door because he was coming to visit me at this club. He's like, my shoes are effing Prada. They're effing Prada running shoes. And like they were like getting mad at him. And he's like, they're Prada. I'm like, ugh. I mean, they are Prada, but they were running shoes, and that's against dress code. But yeah, it just reminds me of him. He was just into fashion, is my point.
Okay.
Is my point. So yeah, Nick and I had that conversation. He feels a little bit slighted about the fact that like he didn't know what he was getting himself into, and I think it was a little bit unfair of her. Granted, maybe she didn't know she was going to feel that way. She did say that a few times, like when I saw him coming back alone, like I didn't realize I was going to have that reaction and feel that way. So not sure what's true with her, but if I was Nick, I'd be pissed.
Right.
So Sydney is lying down. Isaiah comes over to Sydney, and he tells her like, "I'm going to be spending time all day today with Phoebe, and I'll let you. And tomorrow I'll let you know who I'd pick." Like she's like, "Okay,
Okay. Have fun with your new girl.
yeah."
I loved the energy. I loved
That's the perfect energy. It's
He's like,
so
what are you doing? She's like, taking pictures. He's like, of what? Myself. Oh, I just came over to tell you that I'm going to focus all my energies today on Phoebe. Okay.
okay. Well, how do you feel? And she's
Yeah,
like,
it is what it is.
she's
Whatever.
like, yeah, she's like, things are different now.
Hmm.
That would eat him alive. Like, oh my God. And she's just like, I trusted in what we had, but yeah, things are different now.
Have
Okay.
fun with your new girl.
Have fun with your new girl. I love that. It was so good. And she's probably dying inside, but it was the perfect energy.
It was.
And he was just like, okay, where's Phoebe? I guess I gotta go hang out with Phoebe.
Mm.
So they're all getting ready for the night. We see Jeff making a toast. Kat and Jared have a conversation. She talks about how she was only thinking about him. He says in his confessional that like he's always had her in the back of his mind. They kiss. The edit makes it seem as though she could see the kiss, but she didn't react. If she reacted, that's why it would be like, oh, she could definitely see. But it didn't seem like she reacted as somebody that was watching the person that she was been making out with kiss. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's editing, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
Right.
Not sure. He thinks he has feelings for Kat, so okay. We see Phoebe talking to Deb, and I'm just like, Phoebe, I don't know. It's really going to be hard for you to get in with these girls and like have them really supporting you when you're going after their friend's guy. It's just hard. It's just a hard position that you put yourself in. And I know you probably didn't want to be a bombshell. You would have rather been an OG girl, but I don't know. She's not bombshelling like I thought she was going to.
Very disappointed. I trusted you, Phoebe.
Yeah, Realnesss says Nadja definitely puts on a different urban vibe with Jeff, and it seems inauthentic. I agree. I agree. Jessica says, I find it really interesting that Jeff is willing to go back and forth with Nadja so much, but he got tired of Zita after one day. That's why I wasn't falling for all the lines he was feeding to Zita.
Same.
That's definitely facts. Right there. Right there.
Same.
He knew what he was getting himself into with Zita. And Zita was like, just being like, it was like one day where she was like realizing what was going on, and she was like having a conversation with Timmy, and he was like, "Oh no, man, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, you disrespecting me." And like this girl literally disrespects him and brings a guy back, and she's still somebody that he wants to bring home to mama. Yeah, so I agree. Azza says, bombshells coming in, breaking up couples, and crying when the couples aren't done with each other. Save your tears. Absolutely. It's I don't know why they do this. So Nadja and Jeff have a next conversation, and she says that you can't stay mad at me, and he's like, yes, I can. And like he does laugh a couple of times. He has a soft spot for her. It's true. They do kiss, and she's like, are you still mad at me? And he's like, yes. It was kind of cute. It's getting to a cute stage. It could be because she's actually allowing herself to be interested in him, or like she's not putting up the complete wall to him. So I'm okay with them. They're fine. Then Deb and Jesse
got what he wanted, I guess.
Yeah, he got what he wanted. He's happy.
That we would go for, Sydney.
Jessica does not recall Nadja mentioning Jeff once during all of Casa Amor. I don't believe her when it comes to liking Jeff. I don't either, but I do think that she's being more open to him right now than she was before.
Mm-hmm.
CD says, I believe girls have power in the recoupling next recoupling. I wonder how that will go.
Do they?
I don't know. They'll probably let the Casa girls choose first, right?
Who knows? I don't know what they're doing.
So Deb and Jesse talk about Casa Amor and how things. So it wasn't before here. So where the Kyle things happen?
What did you just say?
I was going to say Deb and Jesse were talking about Casa Amor, putting things in perspective.
So who was the conversation right before that?
Nadja and Jeff.
No, there was definitely a conversation.
Phoebe and Deb.
Phoebe and Deb. That's the conversation. Right there, right before that, or right in between that, is when they said Kyle has left the villa.
Interesting. Like I didn't write down anything. I just put Phoebe talking to Deb. I didn't write down anything around
I know it. Deb was having a conversation that wasn't Jesse, because that's what I expected. But then she was having the conversation with someone random, and I was just like, that doesn't make any sense, because it's like that's kind of a big piece of information just for us to gloss over it. But they're glossing. They're glossing. I love glossing.
They're Glossy Magazine. Mm-hmm. Love Island. So they do kiss, and she's like, says that you can't say that you don't know how to make out anymore because that was good. So remember a long time ago, like a couple weeks ago, I said that maybe the reason why he doesn't want to be super intimate with Deb was because he was inexperienced. And then we see that kissing challenge where everybody rated him the worst kisser. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why he's a little bit standoffish with like being super affectionate, because maybe he's inexperienced. So that is starting to check for me. That's checking out. So lastly, we see Phoebe pulling Sydney for a chat, and she asks her, do you want to know everything? Yes, we do, Phoebe. Yes, we do.
I don't know exactly what she's going to tell her.
She's probably going to say that said that she was willing to give her a chance, and that the spark that they had in 3 days was more than they have in 3 weeks. Stuff like that. But that's it for the episode. Anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to?
No, actually, solid episode. Actually, pretty good with it so far. Good fallout so far. The Kyle business kind of did mess up some stuff, but It is what it is. We knew that eventually she would get back with Jesse. I think it just made it
Easier.
easier,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody in the chat for being here on round 2 today. We appreciate you being part of the conversation with us. V wants to know, I wonder how Isaiah will respond to Phoebe after she talks to Sydney. Me too. That will be interesting. If the girls get to choose this time, I bet they let Sydney choose before Phoebe to give her the choice to see if she still chooses Isaiah.
I mean,
not sure.
by this time we're going to have like a full decision, so why would we need that?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we
think
should, if he's still waffling, Sydney should take that out of his hands. There should not even be a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, would she be single and get dumped from the island? I don't know. This will be a lot. Maybe Sydney will get dumped from the island, and then like Isaiah will leave with Sydney. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure because it looks like there would
There's
have to be a
just so many people.
recoupling. There
And
would
like,
have to be a recoupling
who
because
would she recouple with? Like Nick?
that's possible. But there's got to be before we vote. There would have to be a recoupling because
And then like dump like 6
like
couples.
Jess and Deb are single now at this point. Kat is single.
Not necessarily. Kat and Jared seem like they're going to be a thing. So Sean
No, what I'm saying is they're technically single. So how are we supposed to vote?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's going to be recoupling before a vote for sure.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to recoupling first. But I don't think they're going to allow these Casa people to make decisions.
I definitely like when they do some of their covers are very good. They hit the spot. Definitely.
Oh my god, I was like, not this damn boy is mine again. They do it every year. Stop it in the U.S. Stop it. Did they do it in the U.K.? They might have done it in the U.K. too. Stop this cover version of The Boy's Mine.
I don't know if it's the same one, but they do different people singing that song. So Jessica said, well, it's to Sharnice. There was a vote where Jeff was in the top 3 along with Timmy and Isaiah, and Nadja was in the bottom. Yes. And so Timmy is, Isaiah, Jeff is popular. She could see that. She was about to get dumped. Maddie left. Like, I don't know if she was actually going to get dumped, but like Maddie left.
I think they might have dumped Kat, to be honest.
Might have been Kat. The Kyle exit wasn't as bad as Noah's. No, I know. I mean, it's pretty bad because I didn't really notice it, but you're welcome, Charlene. Also, if it's a recoupling, it will be Guy's choice since Kyle is going. Oh, right. It's going to have a one person left out for sure. Interesting.
Yeah.
And it might be Sydney. Or both the redheads are going to be on the button. Sydney might go with Nick just because she's hung out with him. Because Sean Say won't know him. So who knows? But when are you going away? Is that this week or fully next week?
Next Friday.
Next Friday. Okay, sorry. I keep forgetting. Never mind then. So we will go. Would you prefer probably to go live on Monday at 6, correct? For the Sunday episode?
Yes.
Oh, actually, we can go live right after. I'm not doing.
If it's right after, then
I can do right after. Yeah, we'll do right after.
If it's around this time, 10:30, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll do it right after the episode.
Yeah, then that works.
Okay, well, yeah, so we'll go live.
I can't do 12. That's it.
No. So yeah, it'll be around right after it finishes. So watch the episode till 10, and then live at like 10:05.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll be seeing you guys back on Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for this recap. I'm invested in the aftermath of Sydney, Phoebe, and Isaiah. Hopefully next episode delivers. It looks like it does, according to the preview, so can't wait. So just make sure you do follow both Tamika and I, so at Entertainment in Color or Reality Realness with 3 S's. Like both of these videos, please, and leave us a comment. Do you think that Sydney should take back Isaiah? What do you think about this? Do you think that Phoebe should take back Isaiah? What do you guys think about this situation? Do you think that Isaiah should have his cake and eat it too. Give me all the thoughts because I want to know what you guys are thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. See
Bye.
you, everybody. Thank you. Bye.